Supply and demand in marketing. What is supply and demand? Supply refers to how much of a certain product, item, or service suppliers are willing to make available at a certain price, while demand refers to how much of that product, item, or service customers are willing and able to purchase at a particular price. An example of supply and demand. A company sets a new product at $30. They realize nobody is buying their product. They decide to lower the price to $26. Now, the demand for their product will increase at the improved lower price, and the company will begin to make money off of it. So, why is supply and demand important? Supply and demand is very important in the business world. It determines the price of goods and quantities needed to be produced. If supply decreases, prices may increase. Supply and demand go hand in hand and rely on each other. Ultimately, they determine the price and quantities of most goods and services available in each market all over the world. Now, let's take a look at how supply and demand affect consumers and sellers. Starting off with the consumer's perspective, the consumer is affected by supply and demand in many ways. The initial cost of a new product is usually set fairly high. This is a marketing and business technique used by most companies. Through time, the price is most likely to drop while making it more affordable for the consumer. Thinking of a real-life example, we know as consumers how we usually wait a bit before buying something we really want. We say to ourselves, I'm going to hold off on buying this. That will probably be on sale in a couple weeks. We can identify and base our decisions and purchases off of common trends and patterns we see in the business world. Now let's look at it from a seller's perspective. Sellers are heavily affected by supply and demand. The company's profit and reputation relies on the supply and demand of their goods and services. It affects the amount of products the company must make while also affecting their income. Sellers and company owners carefully study the demand for their products to determine how they will go about continuing with that product. Companies collect and organize their data in many different ways. Graphs are one of the best ways to study the supply and demand of a company. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something.